Está bien, clase. Hoy vamos a aprender vocabulario del capítulo 2B. Tu sala de clases. Sala de clases is classroom, so the room of classes. And so we say for classroom, la sala de clases. Sala de clases. So for chapter 2B, not only are we going to learn about other objects in the classroom, for example, la pantalla, the screen in the classroom. Pantalla is also the word used for the monitor on a computer. So I'm going to go ahead and start that slideshow, and we're going to go over the new vocabulary that you will need to know for chapter 2B. As I said before, sala de clases is classroom, sala de clases. So things, objects in the classroom that you will need to be able to talk about where they are located in the room. So we will be learning about prepositions: on top of, underneath, next to, over. So the first object is going to be la bandera. La bandera, which is the flag. El cartel. El cartel is your poster. La computadora. La computadora. The computer. Some of you are using it and pronouncing it as you would in English. Some of you are pronouncing la computer, like computer. It's la computadora. Computadora. El disquete. El disquete are your CDs or DVDs. La mochila. La mochila. You've already learned this one. This is the backpack. La pantalla. La pantalla. And so this could be like a movie screen or the screen that we have in the front of our classroom. Pantalla. This could be your monitor, also known as pantalla in Spanish, for your computer screen. And then you have your TV screen, la pantalla, the screen or monitor. La papelera. La papelera is the waste paper basket. And so if you recall, the word for a sheet of paper is una hoja de papel. Papel being the paper. And so that's where the waste paper basket gets its name, is papelera. Papelera. So papel, papelera. La papelera. El ratón. El ratón. Ratón actually means rat. Ratoncito would be mouse for something that's tiny. Ratón is actually una rata, is a rat. Ratón is mouse. And so this could be either for a computer mouse in Spanish, or it could actually mean a little mouse. For example, little rodent that you would find. Hopefully not in your houses. The computer mouse. El ratón. El ratón. El reloj. El reloj. And that is the clock. And that is in the back of the room in our sala de clases, classroom. El sacapuntas. El sacapuntas. Okay. And so saca comes from the verb sacar, to take. For example, when I tell you guys to saquen un bolígrafo, take out. And so in this case, this is from the verb sacar, saca, and then puntas is a point. And this is the word that we use in Spanish for pencil sharpener. El sacapuntas. And that is in the back of our sala de clases. And it would be encima de, on top of, la mesita. La mesita, the small desk or table. El teclado. El teclado is your keyboard. El escritorio. El escritorio. So an escritorio would be something like this. For example, the teacher's desk in our sala de clases. And it would normally be something that has some drawers in it, like this one here pictured, that you could put files and supplies in. El escritorio. So a teacher's desk. This is la mesa. La mesa. Notice no drawers or anything in it. It's la mesa. La mesa. The table. And you'll learn later on in semester 2, we have what we call diminutives. And so what will happen with the diminutives is to this noun, mesa, you would drop that A and you would add the suffix ita, 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 for a small table, a very tiny table. La mesita. A regular table, like a kitchen table, you would just say la mesa. La mesa. La silla. La silla. Just a reminder, the double L is pronounced like the Y in the word Yeti. La silla is the chair. La puerta. La puerta is the door. La ventana. La ventana is the window. We don't really have windows in our sala de clases. We do have a small window on la puerta or en la puerta. La ventana está en la puerta. The window is in or on the door. Now we begin to learn about prepositions. So 2 things are going to happen. 2 things that you need to really know are prepositions, the words for prepositions in Spanish, and also the verb estar, to be. You will need to conjugate it based on the subject, whatever it is that we are talking about. Is it singular? Is it plural? So you would need to know, because you will need to use a form, conjugated form of the verb estar when you're talking about where something is located. So to say next to or beside, like this little elefante, you would say al lado de la. Okay, al lado de la, this is the feminine form if the noun that follows is is feminine. You will need to use the contraction del, so you would say al lado del instead of de la. You would say al lado del, that's the contraction that you would use, which means of the. It's next to or beside the. If the noun that follows is masculine and singular. It's the only time that you can use the contraction del is if the noun that follows is masculine and singular. Al lado de la, if it's feminine. Al lado del, if it's masculine and singular, the noun that follows. To say that something is there, allí, allí, it's over there, allí. Aquí, here, aquí, here. Mi mochila, my backpack, está, a form of the verb estar, to be, aquí. Mi mochila está aquí, is here. To say that something is underneath. Once again, we have 2 versions. You would say debajo de la if the noun that follows is feminine. Debajo de la, in this case, mesa, for table. El perro está, a form of the verb estar, to be, debajo de la mesa. Let's say that the dog is next to the student desk. Then I would have to say instead, el perro está, a form of the verb estar, to be, debajo del pupitre, is underneath the student desk. Pupitre, del pupitre. Pupitre is masculine and singular. So I must use the contraction del, of the. To say that something is in front of. In front of. Once again, delante is the preposition for in front, and then of the. If the noun that follows is feminine, you have to use delante de la. De la. Okay, separate words, 3 separate words there. If the object is in front of and the noun that follows is masculine and singular, I have to use the contraction del. So I would use delante, which means in front, and then of the, del pupitre. El elefante está delante del pupitre. It's in front of the student desk, pupitre. To say that something is behind, once again, detrás means behind. To say of the is going to dependent which form you use, dependent on whether the noun that follows is feminine or masculine. The word computadora is feminine. So I would say el gato or la gata, if it's female cat, está, a form of the verb estar to be, detrás de la computadora. Computadora. Donde is the interrogative, where? And just a reminder, remember when we are using interrogatives, you have to have an inverted question mark at the beginning of the interrogative word and at the end. Whenever you're asking a question, you have to have an inverted question mark at the beginning of the interrogative word, and then at the end of the interrogative word or at the end of the question, a right side up question mark. Where? ¿Dónde está Wally? Or ¿dónde está Waldo? To say that something is in or on, you're going to use the word en. So if you remember when I'm asking you to put everything up, guarden todo, I would tell you debajo de sus pupitres, underneath your pupitres, or en su mochila, en, in your backpack, en su mochila. To say that something is on top, the preposition is encima, encima, on top. What follows afterwards, you'll either use de la or del, depending, in the case of de la, if the noun is feminine. And so in this case, it is because the word mesa, la mesa is feminine, so I would say el conejo, the rabbit, está, a form of the verb estar to be. Está encima de la mesa, encima de la mesa. If I want to say el conejo, the rabbit, is on top of the student desk, el pupitre, I would still use the preposition encima, but I have to use del, the contraction del, of the, on top of the student desk, encima del pupitre. The word de means of, and we would use this de when we're talking about who possesses this item. Whose book is this? In this case, es el libro de Señora Angley. It is the book of Señora Angley. So we're using this word de of when we're indicating possession of an item. Es el libro de Señora Angley. You will recall the title of your scrapbook project. you had to say libro de recuerdos, book of memories, de, of, and then you stated your name because you are the one that possesses the item. It's yours. All right. Another possessive adjective is me. No accent. No accent like when you were saying a mí me gusta. That me has an accent because you were talking about I like to. And that me is part of the I. Instead of saying yo me gusta, which would be grammatically incorrect, you say a mí me gusta. A mí me gusta. In this case, this me is a possessive adjective and does not carry an accent over the I, pardon. Mi bicicleta, my bicycle. Mi bicicleta. Another possessive adjective, tú. Notice no accent over the you because this is a possessive adjective, your. It is not the subject pronoun you familiar. You familiar would carry an accent over the you. This is the possessive adjective your. No accident. Yo no tengo tu disquete. I don't have your CD or DVD. Yo no tengo tu disquete. ¿Qué es esto? You'll remember when we were learning about some classroom objects like the pencil and pen, I would ask the question, ¿qué? What? ¿Qué es esto? What is this? ¿Qué es esto? What is this? And then just a reminder, remember, we're asking a question. You have an interrogative word here at the beginning. You're going to go ahead and place an inverted question mark at the beginning of the question. And then at the right side up, question mark at the end of the question. What is this? And here are your different conjugated forms of the verb estar. Estar is an AR verb and for the most part will conjugate like any AR verb except for in the yo form. So it makes it a little bit unique. And then the other difference is that with the endings that you attach to the stem of the verb est, it's going to still be the as, a, amos, an, but what you'll notice that with this verb estar, for the two, el, ella, usted, ellos, ellas, ustedes, there's going to be an accent over the A. An accent over the A. You won't do it for estoy nor estamos. Okay, you will not place an accent there or here because it's not really using the format that you would use when conjugating AR verbs. Remember, with AR verbs, the way that you conjugate them in the present tense is to the stem. So just a quick lesson here. Remember, the AR goes away when we get ready to conjugate the verb. What is left is called our stem or root of the verb. We're going to place that stem or root of the verb next to each subject pronoun group, and then we're going to add the endings. So yeah, we could basically say for yo, we use the ol has, a, amos, an. But in this case, you have to add a y for yo. For the verb estar, yo estoy, I am. Tú estás, you have to place an accent over the A. Él está, he is. Ella está, she is. Usted está. You are. We are. Estamos. Ellos, ellas, ustedes. They, them. They or them. Group of guys or a mix in the gender. Remember that in the plural form, we will always defer to the masculine form. Ellos. Ellas would be they, them, just the girls over there. And then ustedes, you all. This is the formal plural you. Formal plural you, ustedes. And that's how I would address you all. So just a reminder of the spelling. It helps you to remember for this particular verb, estar, to be. If you were to outline, you were to outline the ones that you would actually place the accents over, if you were to outline it, it would form the shape of a shoe or a high top, as I would call it. A shoe or a high top. If you were to highlight the subject pronouns, where in this case, the verb estar, to be, where you would need to place the accent, just think of a high top or shoe to help you remember to place those accent marks over the A. So that is your vocabulary and the main grammar that we're going to be dealing with, the verb estar, and we'll go into that a little bit more. I'm going to teach you mnemonics for estar. Estar is temporary, and so we're going to use the mnemonics CHEL, and I'll go over that lesson on a different day.